Hey there, Cupcake. Did you enjoy your little tour of the grounds? Yeah, I like it too. Kind of fell in love with the place as soon as I saw it. Yeah, just chopping some wood. I figured we might as well keep stocked up. It's supposed to get chilly tonight, so we'll be going through a few logs. Well, yeah. Yeah, I suppose. I suppose we do have a few different ways we can keep warm together, don't we? But also, wood. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I walked right into that, huh? You know, there are some jokes that people just don't go to naturally when you're growing up surrounded by women. Yeah, that would be one of them. It's not our first frame of reference, so yeah, you got it. Alright, grab some logs. Let's get this inside. Well, this place, I didn't find it, actually. It was passed down to me. My father. Yes, my father. What? Okay, just out of curiosity, how do you think baby Amazons come into existence? Oh, right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, yes. Yes. He was not on the island with us when I was growing up. He visited a few times, but my father was a bit of a wanderer. Yeah, I suppose like me. But not like me. Well, my father is older. He was older. No, he's not with us anymore. But, he was a boomer. Like a boomer, not like okay boomer, but like actual boomer. he was born in the 50s. And when Vietnam came around, he was drafted. It wasn't easy for him. He was one of the soldiers who came home kind of what they called shell-shocked at the time, but now we would just recognize it as PTSD. He came home and wanted to be far, far away from civilization and men in general. So he bought this little piece of land up on the side of a mountain that was far away from anyone. And he drew a little plan out on a napkin for a log cabin and started cutting down trees. He slept in a tent right in the grounds here, straight through winter in Vermont, which was impressive. And he would use an axe to cut through the ice in the pond in order to get water and jump in for a bath, which is crazy to me. I could never. I could do a lot of things. I can face a lot of fears, brave a lot of things, but cold? Oh no, not that kind of cold. I don't mind living up here in Vermont, but I've got to be bundled up for it. And so anyway, yeah, he just started cutting down trees, and he built a one-room log cabin. And then the next year, he built another room right next to it and cut a hole in the walls for a door. So he had a room and a bedroom. And the year after that, he built another room that eventually became the kitchen. And now we have what you see before you, a two-bedroom cabin with a loft and indoor plumbing and a sunroom. The sunroom always gives me pause. But you know what it is? The big windows that he's got all throughout that room, they came from a school that was being demolished, and he knew a guy who knew a guy, and he was able to save those big, giant windows, and that's how he got a sunroom. It was really a stroke of luck. And gave him a little greenhouse where he could keep growing things all year long. Anyway, my dad had a place of his own far away from people, but he didn't feel quite satisfied yet. He felt like he had to make it up to the world for what he'd taken part in. And so he joined the Peace Corps. He went building homes and digging wells for other people, just like he'd done for himself. And then after the Peace Corps, he just started volunteering for anything and everything, where people with strong backs and the fortitude to do what has to be done would go to help. Whether it was with the Red Cross after a natural disaster, or whether it was just some small organization of ex-military who would go in and help bring home kids who had been kidnapped by militant guerrillas. He did a lot, my dad. I'll never know what made him feel so guilty, what he did or what he saw or what kind of survivor's guilt he had from Vietnam, because I never got any stories about it. He would never say. And obviously I didn't know him that well anyway, being raised away from him. The only way I even know that he came back from Vietnam kind of traumatized was because of my aunt, who told me that he came back different. He was never the same person afterwards. He was never quite carefree. And while he'd been not a bad person before, he wasn't driven to save people like he was after Vietnam. So there's that. Anyway, that's how he met my mom. He'd been working for a group of soldiers who were trying to get their village's children back from some soldiers who had taken them. The leader of this village's small band of militia had heard of the Amazon warriors and thought that it would be a good idea if they could convince our warriors to help. He figured that the enemy soldiers would underestimate female warriors and that the children would trust women better when they were coming to get them. It was actually very wise of him, and it worked. My father met my mother while they were working together to get those children back. And, I don't know if he fell in love with her. But I know that he respected her, and he was fond of her, and he needed her. He once told me that he needed her because she didn't need him, and that made him feel safe. And for the life of me, that seemed so confusing for a long time, but I think I get it now. You know? Like, he needed someone who was a whole person on their own. Someone who he couldn't hurt. Someone who was going to be okay with or without him. Because that way he could still be himself and not be afraid of hurting her. And who he was someone who had to keep going and had to keep moving on to the next person to save. So she was safe because he could leave for years at a time and then come back, and she would still accept him just as who he is. As this stray cat that sometimes came to, rub against her leg? That's probably not the way I want to phrase that. But, you know what I mean. She just accepted him for who he was. And he needed somebody that could do that. She was his tether to that part of him that could still have emotions and love and connections. And that connection could reach across the world. And it could stretch for years at a time. And it still wouldn't break. He could come back and still get what he needed. And it was twofold. I mean, she got what she needed as well. Ah. Well. Amazon women are independent. You might have noticed. We tend to feel like we don't need men, even though we want them. But there aren't a lot of men who like not being needed. No, I take that back. Actually, there aren't a lot of people who like not being needed in a relationship. You want to be wanted, of course. But when you're wanted and not needed, it can feel like as soon as that person's bored with you, they're going to go away. And on top of that, if you need them and they don't need you, that feels very insecure. So, my mother got what she needed. She got someone who was okay with her being as independent as she was. And she got what she wanted most. Me. My mother always wanted to be a mother. More than a warrior, even. And so, he gave her me. And for that, she will always have a connection to him and always be grateful. Even now that he's gone. What's that? What do you want to know? Oh. Do I need you? That's a good question. I don't mean to be coy about it. I need parts of you. No, I'm not trying to be like that. I mean, I'm not my father. I need the part of you that needs me. That's very self-involved, I think. But it is what it is. I've never had anybody I've been in love with need me before. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I suppose I did just say that, huh? Are you okay with that? Okay, good. Yes. Then I'm good with it too. I think we're very good together. I need you to need me, you need me, so then I need you because you need me. It works out well. I tell you what, why don't we get these logs on the fire? And then, maybe I'll show you what other parts of you I need. Just so that we're all clear. Exactly. Let's go. Hey there, cupcakes. Why, yes, that character is the one that's being featured in my Patreon NSFW spicy content this week. How did you guess? Maybe all the kissy kissy smoochy smoochy? Maybe all the double entendre? Maybe all the flirty flirty? Speaking of my Patreon, I have so many thank yous to my patrons. Actually, you know what, before I get to that, all of the people who joined me over on my premiere for my new channel at Whispery History ASMR, Thank you so much. I had so much fun, even though my 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 anxiety about like ever going live, even if it's just 20 people that I actually speak to all the time, it just does me in. And then at the very beginning of this, beginning of this live stream, I find out that YouTube has locked me out. Like, I don't know what I did, but I was nervous and I was panicking. So thank you to those who hung out in the live chat and just understood that I was on my way, and I was trying to get there as fast as I could because I was live chatting for all 4 of my first 4 videos, and I missed the first one. I was supposed to be live chatting for all 4. I missed the first one. So thank you all so very much for your patience. Thank you for being there. I had so much fun with those stories, and I had so much fun talking to people while we were playing it. So also, my newest patrons, thank you so very much. I've got some of the some fun names coming up. Bulbasaur Boy and Small Jazz, Samson, Pluto, Devin Miller, Toast Armband, Tim Boringer, and Squirrel Team 6. Thank you all so very much. It is people like you who make it so that I can do this, and I am going to be forever grateful, and also especially to all of those Baker and Pound Cake tier levels who go over and above. There is Pack 3424, Deanster, Mike D, Flaws, Kuro, Semblance of Life, Sarcastic Monkey, Charles Tribble Wheaton, Luke Curator, Lemonic Cultist, Bowman, Alton Goodbottle, Techo, Gunner's Mage, Mushan, the Ex-Mafia Bartender, Owlface, Tomas Rogers, William Gungrave, Nosti, Barry Wilburn, Esteed, SLE Photo, Harper Evolution, Wolf9004, Malicilo, Bunny, Merrill, Mr. Rickles, Pain Lover Onin, okay, Darth Mythis, Red Death 48, Always Able, Old Bean UK, Kulua Bear, The Swaggy Llama, Artlo, Pierce Tailish, and Christian Koleopa'a. Also, to those who were asking why Anin was temporarily named Anin the Penitent, I did have to ask what if he had any official statements on the name change, and it was just a humorous little change because I made Art Low moderator over at my Cupcake Factory Discord, and he immediately set forth to booting Anin just playfully. They're friends. It was playful. They were laughing. In fact, Anin actually asked to be booted, as I recall. I was there. I witnessed it later when he did that. So anyway, Anin had to say that he was sorry to get back into voice chat. So I don't know what he was actually sorry for, but they were playing together. They were playing together because we play, we have fun. I may have had a little bit too much caffeine today. Can you tell? All right. I hope you will all be as good to yourselves as you are to me. I will talk to you soon.